I am here with Denny Cato, and he's a former employee of the city of Marble Hill. What year were you employed, Denny?
I was employed October 1st, 2014, hired in as a supervisor.
And what were your duties?
To run the city crew. I was hired mainly to do the streets and repair water leaks.
Okay. And how long were you employed by the city?
Almost 6 years.
Almost 6 years. And what changed all that?
Mike Johnson called me one day and said I'd been accused of buying alcohol, drinking on the job in a city vehicle, and I told him there's no way, that's not true or whatever. I said it didn't happen. So he said, well, you're suspended for 2 weeks. And I asked for my keys and everything. And if everything checks out after 2 weeks, you can return to work.
And everything checked out?
Everything checked out.
Now, we're going to get into a stack of papers you gave me here. But is there any other reason that you can think of why they would come after you for your job?
They couldn't lead me around by the nose like they wanted to, like they did pretty much everybody else. I'm not a yes person, and I know right from wrong. And I was asked to hook up city water and city sewer and remodel that caboose over there in Railroad Park for the Chamber of Commerce, for Becky's to have her office. She was going to have her office in that caboose. And I just flat told him it wasn't going to happen.
We're talking about Becky Wickington.
We're talking about the mayor's wife.
The mayor, Trey Wickington's wife.
Yes.
And I see you had one disciplinary write-up on, I guess it was February 17th, either February 17th, 19, or it was 12/17, 19. I can't really tell, but the way they've got it wrote. But anyway, did that come after you refused to run water?
Yes.
And
I didn't have any problems until I refused to do that for Becky. That's when my problem started.
And what was your reasoning for not wanting to?
Because that is a historical, it was donated by,
I can't think of his name either.
I can. Boy, I've drawn a blank here, but anyway.
Anyway, you felt like it was donated as a historical landmark, and that's why it should stay that way.
And yes, and she didn't even work for the city. Her being president of the Chamber of Commerce, I mean, she didn't even work for the city. She wasn't even employed by the city. So why would I want to do all that for her?
Now,
because she's the mayor's wife?
Did this take place during a city meeting?
I was asked about it during a city meeting, yes. And we talked about it outside of a city meeting, and I refused to do it.
What was the reaction when you got whenever you said you didn't want to do it?
Pretty much, you're going to do what we ask you to do, or you're going to be gone.
And you didn't receive any write-ups until after that happened?
No.
So you gave me a stack of papers which lead up to your termination.
Right.
And the first one, like I said, it's either 12/17/19 or 2/17. The way they've written it, I can't tell.
Okay. Hang on a second. His name was Earl Vogel.
That's it.
Earl and Donna Vogel.
Yes.
That's where the caboose came from.
Yeah, it's on those pictures in City Hall. There's a picture of it. It says that they donated.
Right. And that's where it came from. And I knew him personally. I done work for him when I used to be a contractor and I did work for him. Very nice people. And I wasn't about to do that.
Yeah, I understand.
Earl had passed on. Donna was still with us, but Earl had passed on, and there just wasn't any way. I didn't even talk to Donna about it. I just said, no, I'm not going to do it.
So after that, in 2019, you received a write-up, and I've taken pictures of all this, and I'll include it with the post. But the description of the infraction says Denny said bullshit on the radio, on the two-way radio.
Yes.
So that was the big infraction, the first one. And that came after the caboose.
Right.
So fast forward to August 25th, 2020, and you were informed that you were being suspended for 2 weeks for possible consumption or possession of alcohol during city time and in a city vehicle.
Yes.
And that was not true.
That was
correct?
not true, and I told them up front it wasn't true.
So, September 8th, 2020, let's see, that was August 25th. I want to make sure I'm not skipping ahead. Oh, yeah, it's the right one. September 8th, 2020, you received a letter that says, Mr. Cato, due to continuous 5 disciplinary write-ups, the Board of Aldermen have decided immediately you will be demoted from your supervisorial position. You will no longer be allowed to drive any motorized vehicle owned by the city of Marble Hill, including mowers. Your pay will be decreased to $16 an hour. Any disciplinary problems going forward will result in termination. And there's a note on the bottom of this. It's
Written by the mayor.
Yes, it's written by the mayor in his handwriting with his signature. It says, nobody signed a statement that Denny bought alcohol on the job. Denny is allowed to return to work and will receive pay for the 2 weeks of suspension. And pension and insurance will not be affected. 9/8/2020, signed Trey Wigington, printed out Mayor Trey Wigington. So, on September 10th, 2020, you received an infraction that says, the morning of 9/10/2020, Denny Cato and myself had words about his discipline on his prior write-ups. This got very heated. Signed Mike Johnson, he's the city administrator, and explain what that was about.
I was just telling him that I wasn't a yes man, and I wasn't gonna be a yes man. I would always stand up for what I believe is right, and I didn't care who liked it. I was very upset over being suspended for 2 weeks. Knowing that it was all bullcrap, but they suspended me anyway. And during a period of almost 6 years, I've seen a lot of people fired, a lot of good people lose their jobs, and some of them I even went to a lawyer myself and got rehired. Chuck Neely being one of them, Alan Wall being the other. Got them rehired because I knew they were done wrong, and it just it got pretty heated. But I didn't know, I wasn't aware that he went to City Hall and did a write-up. That just blew me away when I found that out.
Well, something that I've noticed in this stack of papers is on September 8th, it said due to continuous disciplinary write-ups in parentheses 5, meaning, according to this letter, they said they wrote you up 5 times, but in this stack of paper, there was only 2 write-ups. One for saying the word bullshit on a 2-way radio, city maintenance radio, and the other for having a heated discussion with the city administrator. That's 2 infractions, not 5.
They mentioned, see, when they hired me October 1st, 2014, they were in bad shape, and they hired me and Tim McCain started the same day. He was also hired as a supervisor over the mowing, all the mowing, the parks and everything. And the people that were already there had a pickup assigned to them, and there was only one pickup. So therefore, if I had to go somewhere, I just drove my own truck. I guess they're going to call that a write-up also.
Because you drove your own truck?
Because I drove my own truck, yes. I didn't charge any fuel to the city or nothing, but if I had to go somewhere or whatever, and even go pick up parts or whatever, different ones of the city employees drove my pickup.
So you more or less donated your personal vehicle.
Right, exactly. And we used my equipment. I donated. I had mining permits. You know, I was in the gravel business. I had mining permits, several permits to get gravel, and I donated 200 loads of gravel to the city, and had no intention of asking them for anything. They didn't offer me anything, but I wasn't going to ask for it until they terminated me, and I turned in a bill for 200 loads of gravel for $50 a load, and they just blew that off like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah, so we get to September 11th, 2020, and you receive a termination letter that says it's been decided by the Marble Hill City Council to terminate your employment effective immediately. September 14th, 2020, the city is demanding that you turn in all city property immediately, including but not limited to keys, radio, MFA fuel cards, and city cell phone. You are no longer permitted on any city property, including the maintenance shop, for any reason. You will receive your pay for the current pay period, including any back pay owed for the time during your suspension and any comp time on file at the regular payroll date of 9/17/2020, and your insurance through the city will terminate on September 30th, 2020. Now,
and I had, what was the date on that?
September 11th, 2020.
September 11th. Okay, October 1st, I was due 3 weeks vacation. That's 3 weeks they beat me out of right there.
Well, let me ask you something.
October 1st, 2020, I would have been there 6 years, and I had 3 weeks vacation coming.
Well,
that I didn't receive.
You received the termination letter, and then you received a letter from the city attorney dated September 30th, saying, "Dear Mr. Cato, on behalf of the city of Marble Hill, I'm writing to demand that you stop entering city property upon which you have no business. This would include the water tower and the shop. You have been asked before not to enter these properties, and this is your last warning. I will copy the chief of police with this letter and ask you be arrested should you again enter the shop building, water tower, or other non-public areas. Also, I'm asking one last time that you stop interfering with the employees in the performance of their duties. You are certainly free to go to public areas such as the parks." And that is signed Richard Whiffen, City Attorney, City of Marble Hill, dated September 30th, 2020. Now, my question is, when you received this write-up on September 10th, 2020, from Mike Johnson saying that it got very heated, was that in the shop?
Yes, it was.
And was that the only time?
That was the only time I was ever in there since my termination,
And it
or
was
since my suspension.
and it was before your termination.
It was before my termination.
So why would they send you this letter?
I have no idea.
Um,
But when me and Mike had the heated conversation, it was in front of all the employees. They all heard it. And I guess he went straight to City Hall and wrote me up for it. The only thing I can think of. Because I sure didn't know anything about it until I got this letter.
Since you were head of the city work crew or whatever, let me ask you this. Did you ever meet any resistance in trying to fix the roads?
Oh, yes. For instance, I had $60,000 to work with repairing streets that year. The road Englehart Lane, which goes through to Possum Creek. I did all the prep work and everything to repair 1,700 feet of that. A 2-inch overlay, 11 feet wide for over 1,700 feet long. And I met with the man from Mesa Asphalt and Advance. We measured it, and he priced me the job for $40,000, and I was good with that. And Trey, when he found out about it, he just squashed it, and that was the end of the story. No more overlay, no more Englehart Lane. End of story. Everybody was good except Trey, and he stopped it.
Did he ever indicate at any time there was a need to fix any of the roads?
Never did. If he ever wanted anything done, it would be something him and Becky went and looked at, and they decided they wanted this done or this done. And a lot of times I had a problem with that, so I'm no longer with them.
Did you ever suffer any health issues due to the stress of your job?
I saw, as I said before, a lot of good people, lose their jobs. Tim McCain being one of them. Tim was done wrong too. They fired the entire sewer department one day. The entire sewer department, with no notice or anything. Twice, the maintenance crew got down to 2 people, me and Calvin Fisher. Twice that happened in 6 years.
Now, was that before Trey or?
Yep. And November 13th, 2018, we had a lot going on, and I had a heart attack about 11 o'clock that morning. I had one of my employees run me over to the clinic, and my blood pressure was 255 over 155. And they told me, said, "You're having a heart attack." And well, I didn't believe it. But Alan Wall run me home. Alan Wall took me home, and they took me to the hospital, and I had to have 5 stents, 3 in the front side of my heart and 2 stents in the back side of my heart. And returned to work 2 weeks later, and never missed a day after that until this all happened.
Interesting. What was there anything in particular that caused you more stress at that time at work?
It was just nitpicky stuff every day. It was that way pretty much the whole time I was, there. But especially after Trey became alderman and Becky got on Chamber of Commerce, then it all went south from there. From that
Alderman or mayor?
when he became alderman, my
Okay.
trouble started.
Um,
And then mayor, when he became mayor, he told me I'll be gone if he ever becomes mayor, I would be gone.
Trey said as alderman that if he was elected mayor, he was going to fire you.
That's right.
What do you think his reasoning was?
Because they couldn't lead me around and make me do right or wrong, whether I liked it or not. Things that him and Becky wanted done.
See, I keep hearing this. Is it your opinion Becky has influence over the way the city is being ran since her husband's the mayor?
Absolutely.
Has it caused any problems with other employees?
Yes, it has. It sure has. Also, before the heart attack, I had other problems. I mean, a lot of things was going on, and I had my house in Pellegrino Park burned to the ground. Police department said that the fire was started outside at the front door on the deck, and I came to work one morning, saw the fire trucks in there, and somebody set that fire from the outside, and I've had that to deal with too.
But they never had any leads as to who did it.
Just that it started outside the front door on the deck. Part of the stress of the things that I have put up with during this 6-year period.
How long did you have before you were eligible for retirement when you were terminated?
3 months.
3 months.
And right in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, that was during COVID.
Yes.
So, and looking through the paperwork, I keep going back to this because it bugs me. You know, it says you had 5 write-ups, but all I see in this paperwork is 2. And you said one possible one could be that you were using your personal truck because there wasn't another one available. Well, that still would have only been 3, but I don't see any record of there being a third.
Right.
So where are they getting the rest of them?
I have no idea. But still yet, we're talking about a 6-year period where a lot of people was hired and a lot of people lost their job during this 6-year period. And like I said, the crew got down to me and one other man twice during this 6-year period. I mean, if you have 3 write-ups or 5 write-ups or whatever, does that mean 3 write-ups or 5 write-ups
I wouldn't think Sam.
forever, or just every now and then they go away?
I guess that's at their discretion.
Right.
So,
I mean, over a 6-year period or over a 6-month period or what? You know what I'm saying?
So it's safe to say you donated your equipment.
Yes.
And
200 loads of gravel.
And used your personal truck because there wasn't another one available.
Right.
You came back to work 2 weeks after having a heart attack.
Right. Never missed a day after a day sick leave after that, ever.
And just to clarify something, because we're going to have to end this because the video is getting lengthy and it's going to take a long time to
Okay.
load up. You didn't have any problems, any disciplinary actions until you said no to the caboose.
That's it. That's when it all went south.
Well, I probably don't have to. You know what? I'm not even going to ask the question I was going to ask because what you said is clear enough to understand and people can make up their own minds.
Right.
I don't think there's anything more to say. Got any last thoughts before I shut this camera off?
I've never been so humiliated. I've always been proud of who I am and what I stand for. The Battle of Mingo Swamp happened on Cato property.
Yeah, I know.
So, you know, no other
Well,
thoughts.
I would say you still have every reason to be proud of who you are.
I've worked hard all my life, Clint, and it's tough to go out like this.
You're not gone yet.
Okay. Maybe somebody will believe me.
I think a lot of people will believe you. I believe you. And hopefully a lot of people will watch this.
And it goes on. I ran for commissioner, and me and Trump went out together. I ran for commissioner, and when I ran for sheriff, I ran strong in the south end of the county. I went to school, south end of the county, grew up in the south end, and I ran strong at Sturdivant. And but for some odd reason, this last time they didn't even have a voting place at Sturdivant. The people from Greenbrier or Sturdivant or Arab or none of them people had a place to vote because I was running. I feel like it was because I was running.
Where were they supposed to vote?
They always voted at Sturdivant for years and years and years.
So what you're saying is somebody moved it. It was
moved. Somebody moved the polling place.
And maybe not exactly advertised it.
And I'm just telling you, that's just another thing that really was upsetting to me.
Interesting.
Well, it cost me a lot of votes. I'm not saying I would have won the thing, but it cost me a lot of votes by them moving that polling place from Sturdivant.
Well, I'm just going to guess there's probably a whole lot less stress in your life now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it sounds like they did you dirty. I mean, but you're free of all that.
I'm free of all that. I love my wife. Me and Rita get along great. We can do anything we want to do. It's just tough to go out the way I had to go out. It really bothers me.
I would say that's probably a pretty good place to end the interview. Thank you for coming forward and telling me your story.